Good evening, class. It's Mrs. Albright, and tonight we're working on Module 5, Lesson 32. And our objective for this evening is to learn about how to subtract a fraction from a mixed number. So make sure you have your scratch paper and a pencil or a whiteboard ready to go so that you can practice and write down any questions that you have throughout the lesson. So with this problem, we have a mixed number, 3 4/5, and we need to subtract 3/5. So my final answer, if I were to look at this as a picture, I would have my 3 holes, and then I have one additional hole which I'm going to break up into fifths, and I'm going to color in 4 of them. Okay, so this picture represents the number that I'm starting with, my hole, the 3 4/5. Now I need to look at the part I'm taking away, 3/5. All I have to do is X out 3/5, and I am left with 3 whole and 1/5 remaining. So if I were looking without drawing a picture, just looking at this problem, I can just look at this numerator, 4, subtract the 3, and I end up with that 1/5 left over. Another way of looking at how to do this is with a number line. So I'm going to draw a nice long number line, and I'm going to start with 3, 4, 5. Now the fraction I'm starting with is 4 9/10. So I know that this number is greater than 4, less than 5. So I'm going to divide this section of my number line into tenths between 4 and 5. And I'm going to put my 9/10 right there. That's my 4 9/10, which is the whole that I am starting with. Now I have to subtract 3/10. So on the number line, I'm just going to hop back 1, 2, 3. And the place here where I land on the number line is my difference. And that is 4 wholes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/10. So my answer is 4 6/10. Again, because the denominators are the same and the whole that I'm starting with has a larger number of pieces than what I'm taking away, I can just look at the numerator, 9 minus 3, and that's where I get my 6. The whole number didn't change, and you can see this is the only difference I made on the number line by subtracting the 3/10. I would like you to try this one for an 11/12 minus 3/12. Now, some problems get a little more confusing. So what's different about this problem, we have 4 1/5, and we need to take away 2/5. Now, when I look at these numerators, I have a 1. I can't subtract 2 from a 1. There aren't enough pieces. So I need to do something else. I'm going to demonstrate this by drawing a picture of what this would look like first. So I'm going to draw my 4 whole. And then I'm going to draw one more, and I'm going to break it into fifths, and I'm going to color in 1. And I have all of these as part of my original number. I've got 4 wholes and 1/5. That's what I'm starting with. Now to take away 2/5, I can take away 1, but I need to do something to this hole here so that I can take away 1 more. And what I need to do is to break that up into fifths as well. So now my new picture, instead of looking at this as 4 1/5, I'm going to look at it as 3 whole. I've got 1, 2, 3. And now I've broken this up into fifths. So I'm going to look at this as 3 whole plus my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/5. Okay, so all I've done is just change the way I'm looking at this fraction. Instead of looking at it as 4 whole pieces and 1/5, I'm looking at it as 3 whole pieces and then 6/5. Now I can finish taking 2 away. So I already took that one away. I'm going to take 1 more, and then I'm going to count up and see what I have left. I have 3 wholes, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4/5 left. I'm going to do another example this way, but I'm not going to draw the pictures. But you can see here, since my original number only has 5/10, that's not enough to take 7/10 away. I need more tenths or more broken up pieces. So I'm going to take a look at this 4 and I'm going to decompose it. I'm going to take 1 whole away, so it's 3 and 1. Here's my new number bond. And then this 1, I'm going to turn that into a fraction. That 1 is worth 10/10. Now when I put those 10/10 together with the 5/10 that I already have, I can rewrite this fraction 4 and 5/10 as 3 whole and 15/10. You can see that the value of these two is still the same. 4 and 5/10 is equal to 3 and 15/10. I'm just looking at it in a different way. Now, since I have more tenths, I can subtract my 7/10. 15 minus 7 is 8/10. Now, if I had drawn a picture of this, I would have had 4 wholes, and then this one would be broken up into tenths, and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them colored, and all of these would be shaded in. So just going back to the beginning to model this, this is what I'm starting with, 4 and 5/10. Now in order to be able to take 7 away, since I don't have enough small tenth pieces, I have to break this into tenths as well. So now my new fraction is 3 and 15/10. So now I can take the 7/10 away. So that is where this 3 and 15/10 come from. It is 4 and 7/10. I just regrouped it, basically. I turned one of those holes into 10/10 and added them to the 5/10 I started with, so that I can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them away, and I am left with those 8/10 and the 3 holes. All right, for this problem, I'm going to demonstrate how to solve this on a number line. So I'm going to start with my 0, 1 whole, 2 whole, and 3 whole. And because the fractional unit I'm working with is twelfths, I'm going to break this number line up into twelfths. And I'm going to mark 2 and 2/12 on the number line. Now in order to subtract 7, I can go back 2, but this needs to be decomposed into twelfths as well. So I'm going to break that part of the number line into twelfths. So now I can go back 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and land on the number line right there. So to get my final answer, I just need to identify what place is this on the number line. So it is 1 whole, and then we can just count the twelfths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 twelfths. Now if I had decomposed this the other way, where I take one of those holes away, so it's 1 whole and 12 twelfths, and then I put the 12 twelfths together with those 2 twelfths, I would end up with 1 whole and 14 twelfths. Now I can subtract 7 twelfths, and I get that answer of 1 and 7 twelfths. So this on the number line is where you can see how that's happening. I would like you to give this a try. 3 and 7/10 minus 9/10. So remember, 7 is not enough to take 9 away from. So don't make that easy to make mistake of doing 9 minus 7. That's not going to give you the right answer. Draw an area or draw a tape diagram model of this problem. Use a number line, whatever strategy you need to be able to subtract the 9/10 from the 3 and 7/10 that you started with. Next example, 2 and 1/4 minus 3/4 is equal to, and your last problem for the evening, 7 and 3/10 minus 9/10. Again, draw tape diagrams, use a number line, whatever strategy works for you to solve this. And don't forget to go back and rewatch the video if you need some reminders or some extra practice to be able to figure these out. Make sure you bring your questions back to class. We will continue working on this tomorrow, and I hope you have a great night.